Welcome to the video, I'm CuddlyJay, and today we'll be looking at a fun budget build for the good old Evensong. So this is going to be mainly focused on PvE and early game. So you just got this unlocked and you want to try and level this up as a solo player. So let's get straight into this. So of course we're going to start off with the Evensong, as you can see, and our first ability will be Chain Missile. Basically, this is your Q. You'll shoot a chain missile into the targeted direction, dealing 333 magical damage to the first enemy it hits. Upon hitting an enemy, it will jump to the closest enemy within 7 meters of the last enemy hit, dealing 63 magical damage to all following enemies. It can hit up to 3 targets, and it can't hit the same target multiple times. Now, it applies 1 arcane charge to all the enemies it hits. Now, arcane charges are consumed whenever you deal direct damage to the affected target, and then it deals an additional 139 magical damage. Now, chain missile damage does not count as direct damage, just auto attack them, and boom, that's some direct damage right there. Your next ability, which is probably my favorite one early, is the Enigma Blade. This is a damage buff mobility one, so you'll combine up to 2 abilities. The combo resets after 4 seconds. So your first attack, when you use this, you'll conjure a magic blade in front of you, a big, purple one, and basically hit all the enemies in front of you in a cone in the direction you choose. You'll deal 454 magical damage to all these enemies it hits. Now, hitting at least one enemy enables the next combo ability, and this second ability will pop up right after you use the first Enigma Blade. You can tap the button once again, and it's called Flicker. You teleport to the targeted position. You cannot teleport through obstacles, but it does grant you immunity to damage for 0.2 seconds. So if you time it perfectly, you might be able to avoid some pretty big damage. Then of course we have the cool ability here, Dark Spear. You call down a Dark Spear impacting after 0.4 seconds. It deals 252 magical damage to all the enemies in a 5-meter radius. It applies a dark aura on up to 3 enemies it hits. Now, once the dark aura is applied to its enemies, a 5-meter radius around them will be affected, and this will last for 5 seconds. What this does is it decreases healing received by 25%, and it also decreases damage dealt. So, for example, all damage dealt by players would be 25%, and then by mobs within the aura, 12%. It then does apply slows by 15%, and this stacks up to 3 times. It's a very cool looking ability. And then we have this Lingering Power. After casting any spell, increase your auto attack speed by 120% and your auto attack range by 33% for the next 3 auto attacks within 3 seconds. Personally, I just really like this. Gives me a bit more range, gives me more attack speed so I can auto attack, and I just like it on the Evensong. For the next thing, you're gonna go with the good old Soldier Boots. This is pretty straightforward. For your passive, you will go with Toughness. This increases your defense, and then for the ability, I chose Rejuvenating Sprint. This is a healing buff. You start the sprint, increasing your move speed by 80% and healing you for 106 health over 5 seconds. I chose this for the move speed, but also just for a little bit extra health because I am a little bit squishy. For your next one, I went with the Hellion Jacket, and we of course went with the best ability in my opinion, Lifesteal Aura. You create a vicious aura with a 7-meter radius around you, lasting 7 seconds. This deals magical damage to up to 5 enemies based on your current health every 1 second. Now, it does steal 50% of the mob's health that the enemies have lost, so I really enjoy this. Group up all of your enemies in PvE situations, pop the lifesteal, and you'll get as much health as you can back. It's the best way to do it. Then for my passive, I just went with Balanced Mind, which increases all your damage and healing cast by 4% and gives you a bit more defense. The main reason I went with this was because I found that just running around with robes and so forth, I was very squishy and I had no way to really regain a lot of health, so the Hellion Jacket just seems to fit the best. Now, I'm going to give you a few options here. Personally, I enjoy the Assassin Hood here for my headgear. The passive I chose is Balanced Mind, which increases your damage and healing cast by 1.5% and increases your defense. Now, I went with the Meditation here, so you pop this and then all of your cooldown rates will reduce by 80% while channeling for up to 2.75 seconds here. Basically, I chose this because if you look at the cooldowns on these, the cooldowns are 33.53 on Dark Spear. Where's the cooldown? There's 11 seconds to 20 seconds. It just really helps to get these back out into rotation and deal as much damage in PvE as possible. And that's it. This is a budget PvE build, and it's for an early Evensong build as well to help you level this up as a solo as fast as possible. And I just found that the Assassin Hood was the best choice. You could, of course, if you really want, and I'll you know what, we'll go over the cape and then I'll recommend the other helmets. So the other thing is the Limehurst cape. This is a great cape for, spell builds like this. Basically, it activates when you cast a spell and your energy drops below 40%. So it'll tap into the energy reserve, restoring 80% of your max energy over 9 seconds. Because I have this, I'm not worried about energy at all. But if this is not in your budget, just put put a normal cape on, and then what you could do is go with a Scholar Cowl and then use the energy shield. So when you apply this to yourself, it will increase your armor by 100 and your magic resistance by 26 for 4 seconds. But whenever you take damage, you will restore 37 energy, so that can help you out there. Now, if you want to deal some more damage, maybe go with the Mage Cowl. Use Fire Breath. Breathe fire in a cone in front of you, dealing 412 magical damage over 3 seconds to all enemies it hits. And then go with Aggression as the passive. And then let's say you just want more defense. Maybe go with a Soldier Helmet. Chuck on Block here, which, by the way, I really enjoy Block. Tap this, you block all damage for 2.5 seconds? Yes, it is. And then passive, go with Toughness. So you have a lot of choices there, and it's really up to you, but I would recommend the Assassin Hood, just because getting your abilities out again in PvE situations is very, it just means more damage, and you'll be able to kill things faster. I then went with a normal bag, as you can see, and now for my potions and all, I just went with Poison Potion to deal more damage, and then I, of course, went with Carrot Soup because it's budget friendly, increases your health regeneration by 100% for 30 minutes. Just go with whatever you can afford, and of course, overall, I hope you enjoyed this budget build for PvE Evensong. It's basically just an earlier version, so you can level up the Evensong and unlock abilities at a later date. I do hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments below if you've changed anything, if you want to add anything. I do know that there are a lot of support builds for this, but this is mainly for solo PvE, and I wanted to give it a go because the Dark Spear ability is pretty damn cool, and you know what? The Enigma Blade is pretty badass. Like, I love just basically using that, and it just, I don't know, it feels like I'm in an anime or something. Like, let me know what your favorite ability is on the Evensong. Is the Enigma Blade or the Dark Spear? Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, if you gave this, build a little try yourself, leave a like, subscribe, leave some comments, of course, and I'll hopefully see you in another video. Cheerio, everyone!